Hello and welcome to highlights of the 5th of 7 qualifying legs in Europe Division 1 of the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup. And we're in the town of Falsterbo on the south coast of Sweden as the 110th season of the Nations Cup continues on its journey to the final in Barcelona this October. The equestrian world is divided into 6 regions: Europe, South America, Africa, and the 2 regions that have already completed: North, Central America and the Caribbean League, where Mexico and the USA qualified for the final. And from the Asia and the Middle East League, it's Saudi Arabia and the UAE that will also be lining up in Barcelona. But who will join them from Europe Division 1? It's France that currently lead the series, with the 2018 champions Belgium in second. After a slow start, Germany are now on 3rd position, with Switzerland in 4th. Just the top 7 teams will qualify for Barcelona, and it's Sweden who sit at the bottom of the table. But after only one start, they were targeting these last 3 legs.
Well, for us, it's the Nation Cup of the year. I mean, it's on home ground, and it's always the riders. They really want to do well here, and I want to do well here, so it means a lot. For Sweden and for me, to stay in the Division 1 is a really high priority. I'd love to win the league once, but I have to also use the league to promote new riders and to make them stronger, to get experience. And I think for a rider coming up, to mix a team with, for example, Peter Fredriksson, Martin Bayard, Henrik von Eckermann, it's a fantastic experience for someone else to come up. We always want to win, put a strong team together, but a good mix. And of course, to get to Barcelona and that's where we want to go to the win. In the end, I want to use the league in a wise way, and then for the final, we'll try to bring the big guns.
The other teams scoring points this week were Switzerland, France, the Netherlands, Italy and Austria. They were joined by Denmark and the USA. Last year, the Falsterbo crowd were treated to a thrilling 4-team jump-off, where the Netherlands came out on top.
This is most exciting. 41.52. This is the last fence to go. Johnny Poles flies over, and what's he going to stop the clock? 39.33. This is getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
That was a thriller, and that was exciting. And there was 4 people in a jump-off, and then you can do only one thing. And that is also what I told Johnny Pauls last year when we came here, and he said it's dead or alive, ride for gold. And he did a marvelous job, and they went behind each other quicker. And yeah, when you have a final like that's amazing. That is the best that you can have.
Having won the first leg and then a 3rd place in St. Gallen, the Swiss are back with an impressive team after sitting out the last 2 legs.
It will be Nicolas Ucci with Cardano, Paul Estermann with Flor Pepsi, Beat Mendli with Zari, and as the last rider normally is Steve Gerda, and he is here with a special gift for the Swedish supporters. Bianca is here, and Bianca is a Swedish horse, and therefore, I think they like to have this situation. Also, the organizer is very, very happy about.
The Nations Cup is over 2 rounds over the same track. Each team has 4 riders, and it's the best 3 scores to count in each team. The first rider out over Christian Weigard's track was Sweden's Malin Bayard Johnson with H&M Indiana, and they didn't disappoint the expectant crowd.
This could be a cracking start for the home nation here. She comes down to the final fence, yes. 1.60 upright. Well, that's
exactly what you need.
That's popular.
Frank Schutter also jumped clear with Lionel D. However, this was the only clear for the Netherlands in the first round, and they finished in 6th place at the midway point, and a 3rd successive win was out of the window. Eve Jobs put in the best performance for the USA. A stunning clear round, keeping the wildcards on 8 penalties and in touch of the top 4.
The super round is
Just one fence to go, 82 seconds, the time allowed. Is this going to be a clear for the United States? E. Johns comes to the last.
Yeah.
He pops over it, and she stops the clock in a perfect time. That's what the US needed.
Austria put in their best performance so far in the series. However, they were collectively caught out by the time allowed. Anchorman Max Kuhner and Alfred Jordan cemented their first round effort, the team ending on 10 penalties at the halfway stage. All eyes were on Swiss superstar Steve Gerdat and his Swedish warmblood Alfredens Bianca. A clear round was needed to wipe out teammate Beat Manley's fence down. But they had the last element of the double down. They held it together though, and the team finished on a total of 5 penalties. Italy also fell foul of the time allowed, all 4 riders picking up time penalties. The team finished round 1 on a total of 7. The other wildcard team was Denmark. The clear round from their anchorman Andreas Schue was just damage limitation. After the 17 penalties from Torben Fransen had to count, Denmark were at the bottom of the table. France were going well, and a clear round from Mathieu Billot and Kel Fallu held the team on 5 in 3rd place. But it was Sweden's last man out, the reigning European champion Peder Fredriksson and the gold medal winning horse H&M All In that took Sweden to the top of the table after round 1.
A clear from the European champion would put France into the second round on 0 penalties. Just this 1.60 meter upright. He clears it. He's well inside the time.
So just 5 penalties separated Sweden from Switzerland and France. Italy in 4th on 7, the USA in 5th on 8, and the Netherlands in 6th at the halfway stage of this 5th leg of Europe Division 1. We join our commentator Philip Gazala, who's joined by Swedish international Jens Fredriksson for the second round.
We've had a great time in the first round. We're just going to have a look at the course before we start to unravel where we are. So Jens, take us through the same course, of course, that they jumped to the first round.
Yeah, we see now they need to have a good canter 1, 2, 3 and make up some time for the rest of the course. And the ones that does that have no problem with the time, but if they're a bit slow. And here it starts. You can jump this vertical, you can do 7 inside or the 8 outside to the water. And then it's a short 7 to the combination. And we saw some faults there in the end of the course. In the beginning they jumped it quite easy. And then it's a long gallop to number 7 there, and then you have a 9 strides, but we saw also 10 and 11. But the 9 strides is perfect in that one. 2 strides, 1 stride. And then it's a 7, a little bit holding. Someone did 6, but the 7 is the best, I think. And then it took some jumping this oxer with the water. 6 strides to the next oxer. And then we have almost the most falls on that last vertical there. And it was ridden best, just land and go a little bit inside line, keep the canter and a little bit collect the horse the last strides, and that was ridden best that way, I think.
And it was 82 seconds the time allowed, with the time allowed in this round. So we jump in reverse order from the results from the 32 riders, the 8 nations from round 1. For Italy, Luca Marziani, Tokyo du Soleil. Uncharacteristic, 2 fences down and a time penalty.
He started up much more, in much better pace now. Different canter, 1, 2, 3 here.
Italy, who brought forward 7 faults from the first round. Sweden on 0.
Jumps very good now.
Well, this is more what we've come to expect from this great combination. Just the last.
We have the time also.
About a second inside the time, and that was a super clear for Italy. Luca Marciano, Tokyo du Soleil, they go clear. Keeps Italy on that 7 faults. 2 teams on 5 penalties behind our hosts here in Falsterbo, who are on 0, Sweden. And one of those teams is Switzerland. First into the arena for their second round, Biet Mandley and Zeri.
So well ridden, landed in perfect balance, could do that 7 almost without making a half halt in the rhythm. And the position he have in the air is just unbelievable. He's so balanced and makes a horse just hang out there like an airplane. Beautiful.
Just the one to go for Switzerland. Very important round indeed, and that's a super clear from the former world champion Biet Mandley and Zeri. That keeps Switzerland on those 5 penalties behind Sweden, who are on 0. France next in, and they also brought forward 5. So the pressure already piling on Sweden.
But you could see it just from the start. He didn't want to go in here and have 4 faults again. The concentration and the riding was just absolutely fantastic.
Edward Levy, Drag de Bisson. Zangazyder-bred 11-year-old gelding by Dutch capital. And a couple down.
Yeah, 2 back pole on Oxers in the first round. I think into the combination and the second last. Now it jumps better behind. Well ridden. He had really to ride for the water, but he could collect the horse in a nice way.
Super round so far, just this last difficult line. Edward Levy for France.
Perfect.
1.2 seconds inside the time, perfectly judged, and another, that's a lovely clear from Edward Levy. Drag de Bisson, France retain, like Switzerland, after their first line riders, they retain the 5 penalty they brought forward with 2 clears. For Sweden, the pressure completely on their shoulders now with 0 penalties. Marlin Barriard Jonsson, H&M, Indiana.
I think she likes it, Malin. And it's a challenge. When you've been riding so much, you needed some challenges. Beautiful. Perfect. She talked her into
I was going to say, was that Marlin we could hear then? It was, wasn't it? Marlin, who's had Indiana for 4 years, H&M Indiana. Oh. Marlin, Barriard Jonsson for Sweden. 2 to go. Flies the Oxer, now the 1m60 upright. Plenty of time on the clock. She's just got to clear it.
Yes.
That's the first clear for Sweden. That is a tremendous start here in Falsterbo. Well, the atmosphere in this fantastic arena here is now really hotting up. A double clear for Malin Barriard Jonsson. What a start. Austria. Felix Kohler on the horse on which he took the European gold medal as an individual a couple of years ago. Young riders. Felix Kohler with Captain Future. Teams in Europe Division 1, just the top 7 go through, win a ticket to the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup final. Total prize fund €2 million. Austria, who haven't had a great campaign, may struggle to get into that top 7. This being their last opportunity to get points, their 4th of 4 qualifiers. But a super round from these two. Well judged on pace, still clear. That's a lovely round.
Yep.
Felix Kohler, Captain Future for Austria. They go clear. They had one down in the first round for the Netherlands. Eric van der Vleuten with Winskind, 19, 13-year-old Holstein mare by Cassel, Netherlands, who've been victorious here 3 times out of the last 4 years in Falsterbo. At this stage, the competition, it looks unlikely that they'll make the #1 spot, but we've still got a lot of sport to come.
That was not so good for Holland, that fault there.
No, because they have to count that,
Yeah,
because they had a fall from the pathfinder,
Yeah.
Frank Schuttert.
It's not so easy to win 3 years in a row.
No. Hundredths of a second outside the 82 seconds, but probably academic, so repeats his score from the first round. 2 down, 1 time penalty for Erik van der Vleuten and Wunschkind 19. And that means that the Netherlands have a best possible score of 13. For the United States, Catherine Tyree with Buckeye. With 5 faults from their first line rider, Wilton Porter, they will have to count that 4, in addition to the 8 carried forward in the United States. So slipping away like the Netherlands for them here.
She was a little bit too close to that vertical. For the rest, the horse is jumping good. She has such a nice position in the air, leg position. That's typical for the Americans. They have a fantastic lower leg.
Well, unfortunately, the last fence down. So that was 8 faults in all for Catherine Tyree and Bouquet. So America, best possible position, matching the score of the Netherlands after the second of the 4 riders in the round 2 here in Falsterbo have gone on 13 penalties. Italy brought forward 7 penalties. Sweden, let's remind ourselves, brought forward 0, but a great clear from Luca Marziani and Tokyo de Soleil leaves them on 7. Now the turn of Guillier Martinengo Margot with Alsace. She's already jumped a double clear in earlier Nations Cup. She was clear jumping with 1 time penalty earlier on this afternoon. Second qualifier for Italy. And finished second in St. Gallen, where Guillier jumped into super double clear.
Need to have that little bit of luck. You had two rubs and they're still there, and that's exactly what you need in this sport.
She'll be very aware of that time penalty, keeping the pressure up.
Yeah, she's a little bit faster this time, but I think it's 7-2.
Super jump over the penultimate fence, the Oxer. Now the last. Jumps, oh, it's gone, and clicks over on the time.
It looks so good, 1 fence to go, and then suddenly you have 5 faults.
Well, what a super round until the last fence. Guillier Martinengo Margay completes on 5 penalties for Italy. Guillier Martinengo clear in the first round, jumping, 1 time penalty. Nicolas Rucci, Cardano for Switzerland. Already Beat Manley gone clear, keeping their 5 penalties at bay.
Very good. Good riding. So far, the horse is jumping even better this round.
Now the last line. bidding to be the second clear for Italy here in round 2, for Switzerland here in round 2. Just the last. Looks to have plenty of time. Over the 1m60 last fence, stops the clock with 1.5 seconds to spare. What a superb round from Nicolas Rucci Cardano for Switzerland.
Absolutely perfect round.
Well, Switzerland have Paul Esterman with Lord Pepsi and Steve Godat with Alba Frain's Bianca to come. Now rider number 2 for Sweden. Sweden, who carried forward 0 penalties, have got the upper hand here at the moment. They've had a clear from Malin Barriard Jonsson, and now the turn of Fredrik Jonsson and Coldplay.
He had a good round, just inside the time.
Inside the time, and just the one fence down.
Yeah.
On the silver medal winning team of the World Equestrian Games, this combination. That just looked a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, it was a little bit too close, and with not really the distinct riding for the distance there. But they have
jumps the last, rattles it, but it stays there.
Yeah.
And that's 1 down, 4 faults. And they can remain on 0. If those 2 competitors go clear, they discard Fredrik Jonsson's 4 faults. But more pressure now just mounted on the last 2 for Sweden. Stefaneder with Dr. Scarpo for Austria. Still 20 degrees out here, but a bit of a cool breeze off the sea. Well recovered after the water. Had 5 faults in the first round, matches that here in round 2. Stefaneder, Dr. Scarpo. For Austria, complete on 5 penalties. 21-year-old Eve Jobs for the United States, bidding to jump a double clear. Venue to FEI de Hissal.
She did a super round the first round, I think. She really had everything under control. Beautiful water jumper.
Fabulous round so far. Bidding for a double clear. Eve Jobs for the United States. 2 to go. Jumps the last. That is a brilliant double clear from the 21-year-old Eve Jobs for the United States. The first double clear at a Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup. What a moment for this young lady. She also keeps her nation on 13, the best possible score of 13 penalties, level with the Netherlands. That was a super, super round. Now for Italy. Paola Peni, Ottava Meraviglia di Cansang. Eddie Macken, who just mentioned, who assists with the training of Eve Jobs, won here on the Great Boomerang in the Falsterbo Derby.
He won everywhere.
He won a few of those at Hickstead.
Yeah.
This is a very, very important round indeed for Italy. Look at, oh, he just clipped over on to that one-time penalty, which they will have to include, which puts their vaults from 7 to 8. Paola Peni, Ottava Meraviglia di Cansang. One-time penalty in both his rounds of jumping. Absolutely clean jumping rounds, both with time penalties. And that one on this round has to count. Let's remind ourselves, the current lead is Sweden. They brought forward 0 penalties. They've had a clear and a 4 faulter. Behind them, France and Switzerland coming into round 2. Switzerland, 5 penalties. They've already had 2 clears. Now the turn of Paul Esterman and Lord Pepsi bidding for a double clear, which would keep Switzerland on 5 penalties and the pressure on Sweden. Oh.
Looks very good.
Two to go. This could be our third double clear here in Falsterbo. Just the last, absolutely brilliant over the Yast. Plenty of time on the clock. And wow, what a tremendous performance from the Swiss team. here in the second round. They carried forward 5 penalties. They've had 3 competitors. They're still on 5. Their fourth line rider, world #1, Steve Gerdat, with Alba Frain's Bianca. We'll have to wait and see if Steve Gerdat jumps later on, because he doesn't need to improve their position. However, let's wait and see. Now to France. Mathieu Billot, quel filot.
He's really jumping this horse, and he rides it perfect.
He had a second to spare in the first round and jumped clear, so also Mathieu Billot bidding to jump a double clear, gives them 140 points in the Longines rankings. That's gone.
That's gone.
And they have to count that for, they want to discard the 16 from Emeric Georges. And inside the time, but that expensive 4 faults. So 1 down, 4 faults for Mathieu Billot. Quel filot for France, puts France on a best possible score of 9. Well, the expectation here in Falsterbo is now electric. The third line rider for Sweden. What a superb demonstration these two gave in the first round. Stephanie Holman flips Little Sparrow. If they repeat that performance, Sweden will be victorious here in Falsterbo, the first time that have taken the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup here in Sweden since 2012. The pressure is very much on Stephanie Holman and flips Little Sparrow. Right.
The same fence as Fredrik had. It's not the Swedish fence. Now it's up to Peter if Sweden is going to win.
Two to go with 12 on the board. Disappointing for Sweden. But they have another card up their sleeve. That's Steph Holman flips Little Sparrow. They complete on 12.
Now the pressure is on for real.
They have to count the 4 from Fredrik Jonsson, so Sweden's best possible score with a clear from Peter Fredriksson will be 4 faults. And we've got Switzerland, who are already in the clubhouse with 5. Austria, Max Kühner with Alpha Jordan. Austria, who are at their last of their 4 qualifiers, on the cusp of whether they get to the final or not. They had just 1 time penalty, this combination, in the first of the 2 rounds. Well, a beautifully timed round. It was clear again for Max Kühne without the time penalty, and that means that Austria, who have 2 clears in this second round, they complete on 15 penalties. The question will be, will it be enough to keep them in the top 7 of Europe Division 1 to get to the final? Chloe Reid with SWE.
Jumps very good. See what she can do after the water now, this time. Perfect.
Perfect. Chloe Reid, who's had great success on the European circuit, particularly in Sweden. Look at this round. Absolutely flies the last. That was timed brilliantly, beautifully jumped by Chloe Reid. Super clear. And that leaves the United States on 13 penalties, added just 5 to their score they brought forward from the first round. Well, we're starting to get to the pressurized end of this competition. The anxiety around this arena getting quite high now. We've got 4 more competitors to come. For Italy, Bruno Camiri, Tawamush.
Looks good.
Well, that was a superb jumping route. The Italians have seriously jumped very, very well throughout this competition, but it's the clock that has given them the faults. It's not been the ability to clear the fences. They finish on 9, a little bit off the pace, in 3rd place at the moment, equal with France, but we've got a bit of sport to come. Olivier Robert. So it's Steve Gerdat and Alba Frains Bianca don't need to jump because they've had a clean sheet from Beat Manley, Niklas Rucci and Paul Esterman. So they remain on the 5 penalties they brought forward from the first round after those 3 great clears for Switzerland. We need to just look forward to the next competitor, Peter Fredriksson, because if Peter Fredriksson goes clear, they win. If he has one time penalty, jump off with Switzerland, and they may be keeping Steve Gerdat back just in case they need a jump off.
Exactly.
Oh. Clears the last, picks up a time penalty, finishes on 5 for France. France complete here in Falsterbo on 14 penalties. 1 down, 1 time penalty. Olivier Robert, Van Gogh, Dumas, Garnier. Now we're at the moment that this incredible crowd here in Falsterbo have been waiting for, because it's the last of the 32 competitors. Sweden in contention to win the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup here in Falsterbo, the first time since 2012, should they do so. And it is down to this man. Peter Fredriksson and H&M all in. A clear wins them the competition. 1 time penalty, a jump off with Switzerland, 1 fence down. Switzerland take the title. Jens,
Yeah.
your brother's been here before
Yeah.
a few times.
But the more pressure than this is hard to find, actually.
Yeah.
Jumps good, 1, 2, 3. This is a little bit of a tricky fence, especially in this round. Give him space. Good.
The crowds are with every stride of Peter Fredriksson. Brilliant. How are you feeling, Jens?
It feels good. I think he have the time.
2 to go. Now just the one. A Sweden gonna win here in Falsterbo. Just this big upright. He clears it.
Yeah.
The crowds go absolutely
77.
crazy.
Beautiful round.
Peter Fredriksson, H&M, all in.
Yeah.
What an incredible performance. Jens, many
fantastic.
congratulations.
Fantastic.
Your brother was
he
absolutely
rode well.
brilliant. What a team performance. The crowds are in tears. A double clear from Malin Barriad-Jonsson.
Yeah.
2 fours from Fredrik Jonsson. Stephanie Holman, what an incredible first round she did on Flip's Little Sparrow, which enabled them to just carry forward the 0 penalties. And then Peter Fredriksson's double clear. Well, that's the result here in Falsterbo. Sweden take the maximum points. Switzerland in second with that 1 fence and 1 time penalty behind.
It was very good for Sweden, also for Barcelona, and we really needed the points also, so it was...
Well, Sweden taking the maximum points here.
Oh, it means the world. I mean, I had a fantastic couple of years as chef d'équipe. We had the silver medal at home ground with Europeans. We had a silver medal at the WEG. My feeling is that this beats it all on home ground, and this, for us, historic ground and as Falsterbo with the crowd is just, I don't know if you get that anywhere else in the world. I mean, to stand there on the podium, you think you're standing next to 4 rock stars, the way the crowd is cheering. So I have no really words to describe it, to be honest.
So Sweden move up from the bottom of the table with that win, but they only have 2 more chances to score points. Austria's campaign is now over. They currently sit in 6th place and will have to wait and see how the last 2 legs play out. Will they make the finals, and will they stay in the league? France have also ended their campaign. They top the table and are guaranteed a place at the final in Barcelona. Ireland, Great Britain and Italy all have 2 legs left, so there will definitely be some change in the lower end of the standings. It's all to play for as the series moves on to Hickstead for the Nations Cup of Great Britain. Can the Brits win on home soil and break the 9-year drought? Until then, from all of the team, it's goodbye for now.